a WikiVidi documentaries production. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. Canadian Women's Hockey League. The Canadian Women's Hockey League is a professional women's ice hockey league. Established in 2007, the league comprises 7 teams located within Canada, China, and the United States. History. The CWHL was an initiative spearheaded by players such as Lisa Marie Breton, Alison Fox, Kathleen Korth, Kim McCulloch, Sami Jo Small, and Jennifer Botterill, all of whom played in the recently disbanded National Women's Hockey League. The players worked with a group of volunteer business people to form the CWHL by following the example of the National Lacrosse League. The league would be responsible for all travel, ice rental and uniform costs, plus some equipment, but would not pay players. In 2007, Hockey Canada announced it would revamp the SO Women's Nationals, with the Western Women's Hockey League champion and finalist meeting the Canadian Women's Hockey League champion and finalist. Beginning in 2009, teams from the two leagues competed for the Clarkson Cup at the end of the season until the leagues effectively merged in 2011. The Clarkson Cup would then become the playoff championship trophy for the CWHL. The Brampton Canadettes Thunder won the first CWHL championship on the 22nd of March 2008, winning 4-3 over the Mississauga Chiefs in the final. In 2008-09, the Montreal Stars repeated as regular season champions, winning 25 of 30 games, and won CWHL championship. The Stars would also go on to win the first Clarkson Cup over the Minnesota Whitecaps. The Stars would also take a third straight regular season championship the following season. However, the CWHL did not have an individual playoff champion in 2010, but would instead have a Clarkson Cup qualifying playoff for the third team. The Stars and Mississauga Chiefs qualified for the Cup tournament from their regular season records, and the Brampton Thunder qualified through the playoff. The Thunder then played themselves into the Clarkson Cup final, but lost to the Whitecaps. In 2010, the CWHL expanded into the United States with the Boston Blades. The league would also restructure, and the Ottawa Senators and Vaughan Flames CWHL teams ceased operations, while the Mississauga Chiefs would also become the Toronto Arrows for the season. The league announced on April 19, 2011, that it would merge with the Western Women's Hockey League for the 2011-12 season. The merger featured one team based in both Edmonton and Calgary as a combination of the former WWHL franchises, the Edmonton Chimos and Strathmore Rockies. The team played their games in various locations around Alberta. The WWHL then denied that there was in fact no merger, and that the WWHL would continue for the 2011-12 season with 2 new teams joining the league. Strathmore and Edmonton were welcome to depart the WWHL, but the league would not disband as initially reported by the CWHL through various media outlets. However, WWHL effectively ceased operations with only 2 members playing a series of exhibition games against various teams, and the Clarkson Cup became a CWHL-only championship. Changes continued in 2012 with the Burlington Barracudas folding, and Team Alberta taking on the nickname Honey Badgers. The league also created a draft system whereby players in Boston, Alberta, and Montreal could choose which team they would play on, but players in the Toronto area could be forced to play for one of the 2 remaining Greater Toronto Area teams, Brampton or Toronto. Further, a player's pre-draft declaration of the regional area in which they wished to play could be altered after the draft. As a result of these rules, players wishing to leave GTA teams to play in Boston, Alberta, or Montreal could do so as desired, without compensation to the GTA team that they left. Players who wished to leave one GTA team to go to the other GTA team could only be moved upon a trade between the teams. On November 13, 2012, in a reversal from its previous position that sponsorships could not be directed to a particular team, the CWHL announced that the Toronto Furies would be partnering with the Toronto Maple Leafs of the National Hockey League in a multi-year deal, by which the Maple Leafs would provide funding for coaches, equipment and travel expenses. The CWHL announced a similar partnership between the Alberta Honey Badgers team and the Calgary Flames. The Honey Badgers would then rebrand as the Calgary Inferno the following season. The Montreal Stars would follow the trend in 2015 with a partnership with the Montreal Canadiens by becoming Les Canadiens. The league held its first Canadian Women's Hockey League All-Star Game on December 13, 2014, at Toronto's Air Canada Centre. It was announced on June 5, 2017, that the CWHL was expanding to China with Kunlun Red Star WIH, a team controlled by Kunlun Red Star of the Continental Hockey League and the Vancouver Rays. Each team is to play 6 games against its 5 rivals, for a total of 30 games, 15 at home and 15 on the road. Travel costs will be minimized by having each North America-based team make one road trip to China to play a 3-game series. Kunlun Red Star's road games would likewise be grouped into 5 3-game series. The announced reason for the China expansion is for the nation to develop its hockey teams in preparation for its recently awarded 2022 Winter Olympics, to be held in Beijing. Along with its expansion into China for the 2017-18 season, the league announced it would also begin paying its players, for the first time. The finances for the players' salaries is to come from the increased revenue in China. Each player is set to make a minimum of $2,000 per season and a maximum of $10,000 with a team salary cap of $100,000. At the time of the announcement, it made the league the second fully professional women's hockey league in North America after the launch of the rival National Women's Hockey League in the United States in 2015. In 2018, CWHL player Jessica Platt came out as a transgender woman, making her the first transgender woman to come out in North American professional hockey. Television. Since 2014-15, specialty television channel Sportsnet airs the playoffs and the All-Star Game. The most watched game has been the February 4, 2017 game between Montreal and Toronto, which averaged 136,400 viewers. Drafts. The first ever league draft was held on August 12, 2010 at the Hockey Hall of Fame in Toronto. In the 2010 CWHL draft, Olympic gold medalist Tessa Bonhomme was the first overall selection. Brought to you by WikiVidi Documentaries. Would you like to know more?